Welcome to the next episode of the Believer Podcast. I'm here with Chandler today. I kind of just want you to tell what your story has been, kind of what your journey has been from when you're younger till now.
Um, so I'm an only child, from Atlanta, Georgia, Alpharetta, if you don't know Atlanta. And I grew up as an athlete, was big into football and basketball pretty much my whole life, and dropped basketball for football. Just because, height, color, all that plays into play sometimes. So, picked what, I felt like I had the most potential at when I was younger. And so pursued football and recently, was training for the NFL, training for the CFL, and, got cut by a CFL team and now pretty much finding life after football. So trying to find my purpose, trying to find what God put me on this earth to do. I felt like football was really my purpose, and then after I haven't had football for the past 3 to 4 months, that it was really just like a platform for me, but at the same time, like, there's so much you don't really think about it when you're in the sport, and they always tell you, oh, we're trying to teach you for life after sports, or oh, we're trying to teach you, all these lessons, and then you actually, get that one thing that you've loved and identified in who you are your whole life taken away from you or not there anymore, and then you're like, okay, but all this discipline, all this stuff that they were saying really does true come into effect, because it's like there ain't nobody telling you what to do anymore. There ain't nobody behind you, so it's all just you versus the world. So that's really where I'm at now.
That's good. Hey, I know, understand being the only child. What did you ever, when you were younger, felt lonely when you were a lonely child? I said lonely,
Yeah,
only child.
absolutely. I felt like for me, it was like sometimes me versus the parents. You don't want to at times, tell other people what's going on in the family, talk to at a lot of times you don't feel like you have a lot of people to talk to or express, your feelings and your emotions, what's going on, between the closed doors in the family. So it's like, yeah, you do feel alone. You do sometimes feel trapped in your thoughts for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely can understand that being an only child growing up and just having to be at home sometimes and sometimes my mom was a little hovery, so I couldn't do
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of different things. But yeah, so what is football meant to you, and what would you tell to the youth about football today and how to get to college?
Um, for me, football has honestly, it's truly meant everything. It's who I am. It's still my platform. It's what I build everything off of where I'm trying to go, right now. Um, and from a person who is trying to pursue football as what they want to do, whether it's just to get a free education, whether it's just, because they truly do love the sport, or they want to make it to the next level and make it to the NFL and become a professional athlete. I think the number one thing to focus on is really being present and not focusing on the next level. Focus on where you are and the results of that day and each and every day. I think when I was a kid, I got too focused on, I feel like even nowadays it's harder with NIL and everything like that, but I feel like we were the first generation, coming out of high school and stuff like that, with social media and everything really was big, that a lot of us really started, when we were in middle school and high school, we started really looking towards the future instead of just focusing on now and focusing on, being in the present and building each and every day. And I feel like you can't get caught up in that. You got to just build from, each and every day, because if you get caught up in, oh, okay, yeah, I just want to go to college and then just do that. Next thing you know, you skip your whole high school career, and then you don't even have a college offering because that's all you've been focusing on the whole entire time.
Hmm.
So it's like focus on being the best you are each and every day. Don't compare. That's why they say comparison is the thief of joy. So don't compare and focus on you. So that's what I don't feel like I have any regrets personally to say, because I feel like I wouldn't be where I am now. But if I was to change one view aspect of me as a younger athlete, as a younger kid, it would be focus more on exactly where I am. And that's hard to tell somebody, younger to think like that because you always do truly want to fo think about the future because you're always looking at people like us, looking at people that are in college, and you see that now every single day with a flip of a phone. So that's what I would say.
And what else would also what would you tell the athletes about rankings and things like that?
Don't believe in it. I don't think I think it's all personally just understand who you are and understand who is actually trying to come after you and build a relationship with that person and understand that they truly do tell. I mean, you get in the business world nowadays, me interviewing for jobs, they all tell you the same thing, right? They're all like, yeah, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It's the same thing with when it comes to recruiting. Just because they tell you that you're going to be the guy, okay, well, you don't think they're telling the dude right next to you the same thing behind closed doors. So I would say don't listen to any of that. Build the relationships and focus on do your actual research, focus on where you want to go, the lifestyle that you're trying to do in college, whether it's, pick your priorities, right? If you want to, live somewhere where it's not in the middle of nowhere, okay, well, why are you talking to a coach in reality? Why are you giving the coach the time of day it in the middle of a school that's in the middle of nowhere? So it's like pick your priorities, understand what you actually value and favor when you do want to go to college, and then build from there. Don't focus on the numbers. If you just focus on the numbers and everything like that, that's what I'm saying. You're just going to get caught up in all that stuff. And the next thing you know, I mean, you see it. There's so many examples you can bring up. I mean, look at them all the five stars coming out of college. And then now, I mean, look at them.
Mm-hmm.
First one that comes to my example is literally, what's his name? DJ Ukulele from Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
right? Biggest quarterback. Do you even hear about him now? Absolutely not. So just don't focus on that. Just focus on becoming best version of you each and every day.
Facts. And then so what is the most important thing you learned growing up?
Um, I would say the most important thing I learned growing up is always listen before you speak. I would say the most important thing I learned growing up is the smartest person in the room always talks last.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, and it always preaches in the Bible, don't let your tongue speak louder than your ears or your eyes or whatever, right? Listen first and then speak, right? Think, listen, speak. Don't get so caught up in just exactly, speaking just with your emotions, with your feelings. Think about it, listen, go through what you gotta, what that thought is, and then let it out.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with that. Sometimes, because sometimes when you speak with your emotion, you get yourself in trouble.
Oh yeah, learn that lesson.
Facts. And so, what would be something you would go back and tell your younger self?
Um, Something I would tell my younger self is people, when the older people do tell you something, actually listen to them because you think as a younger kid that you are right and you do know what's going on. And you're like, oh, yeah, wait, no, I don't want to listen to my parents because you always want to go against what everybody else says. So I think understand that as a child, as a kid, as a young adult, you do usually want to go against what people say. So think about that, understand that, and trick your mind, right? Trick yourself because we do have a sinful nature. So it's like, think about it, understand, okay, what would God do? But yes, the devil is trying to trick me, but trick him,
Mhm.
right? Trick yourself into thinking the opposite.
And
That's
also,
what I would say.
no, facts. And then, what is one of your best memories growing up? And what is the moment you're most proud of?
Um, Best memories, I would just say like just enjoying and living with your family. You don't really think about it until you live on your own and you go off to college. But the days that you truly do have, like with your family and, the kids you grew up with, like I would just say really cherish those because you do truly never get those back.
Facts.
Um, and as a person who does live far away from their family, that you only see them in a way probably like in total like a month out of a year. So it's like, you know, focus on those memories, make memories, and understand that like it's not all about, you know, the material and all those things, because all that does is just, bring more problems and issues. So just focus on what's right in front of you, and the relationships are most important.
Mm-hmm. And then what is also a moment that you're most proud of?
Moment I'm most proud of probably is I would say like getting my first scholarship out of high school. Like getting that phone call on the coach or on the phone with the coach, being like, "Hey, yeah, we're giving you a full ride scholarship." Realizing that all the hard work and all the hours that I put into when nobody was paying attention in high school and everybody was partying on the weekends and I was waking up on Saturdays at 6 a.m., that, it actually paid off. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that was probably one of the biggest moments that like I can't really do I can't do what I put my mind to, no matter what people say.
Facts. The it's always good. It's a good feeling when all the hard work that you put in throughout all the years to get to that goal when it actually pays off. That is one of the I definitely think it's one of the best feelings you can have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then so what is finish line social? I saw
Yeah.
that and I want to know what is that?
Okay, so basically, I'm moving to downtown Tampa,
Okay.
actually literally on Sunday, a week from Sunday. And as a person who's just a competitive athlete, who still, wants to stay big into fitness, who's now, becoming an online fitness coach. Um, and I model now too as well. So, trying to, entrepreneur mindset
Mm-hmm.
basically. Met a friend down in Tampa who, does a lot of similar things that I do. And he used to actually like, be a runner, like run half a marathons and stuff like that. And, we really kind of just talked, kind of just, two entrepreneurs mindsets coming together. And I was like, dude, like I love working out, but like my main thing is, if I'm really stressed, I don't have football right now. I love to run. So it's like, I'm like, that's it. I'm building a running community, um, all about finishing. And that's why it's called Finish Line Social. Yes, they have the finish line, the store. Love
Mm-hmm.
that store. Bought a lot of shoes from there, but Finish Line Social is, all about finishing, all about togetherness, all about community, and actually like understanding that, you know, you don't know what the person next to you is going through. So understand that just because, they might be talking crap about you, or they might be, come off to you with an attitude. You don't know what happened to them this morning. You don't know what happened to them last night. So, talk to them and, big Christian, obviously it's going to be, preach, once it gets growing and everything, growing on Christianity and stuff like that. And the goal at the end of the day, truthfully, is to open up a training facility. Um, so, this is all pretty much just, coming together. But Finish Line Social is about to be, hopefully one of the top run clubs,
Mm-hmm.
in the state of Florida, starting in Tampa. Already have a couple friends that, want to, once it gets going, want to extend it to LA, want to extend it to Miami. It's just a matter of, putting everybody together, putting all my ducks in a row, and
Mm-hmm.
getting life started. I still feel like as of right now, I'm living in my college apartment. It's like I still feel like college is like pulling me back sometimes, because it's like, oh, I need to get out of here because, but it all takes time. Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I'm just about to be the next best run club
Okay. Okay.
in
And then
Tampa.
run club. Okay, I've seen what a run club is, but I don't actually know what a run club is. So can you explain kind of what a run club is and why someone should join and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a run club basically is it's a community where a bunch of people come together at like a specific time and a place. meet at a location, and they pretty much just like literally go off, whether it's a mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, however long, they do, whether it's, some people go on track, some people, meet at schools, some people meet at like restaurants or bars, and stuff like that. So pretty much it's just a community where you come together, you know, pretty much getting into wanting to build a fitness, my online fitness program, probably will give some, motivational stuff at the beginning, do a whole little, 5, 10 minute stretch with everybody, and then, take off running. My business partner is a DJ, so he's about to literally be on a bike. Well, I'm going to be on the bike and he's going to be behind me DJing.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're all going to be running together, as a community, socializing while we're running, talking, there's different things that we're going to be doing, whether it's, some, events will be like partner pairs. So, you'll pick a number when you come in at the location, pick a number out of the bucket, your matching number, that's who you guys partner with, and y'all run together that day.
Okay.
Ask each other questions, meet people. As a person, it's all about networking, especially with, a person who's an entrepreneur. Networking is such a big thing, and I feel like, getting into everybody nowadays is so, I mean, you see the health and wealth, community growing at a high rate, and it's one of the top communities growing right now. I mean, for Lord's sake, everybody's talking about Wiz Khalifa running recently. I mean, I know you've seen that. Everybody's been talking about that. My boy literally was like, watch, he's about to come out with his own running brand. Watch. Like literally. It's just like it's a certain dopamine that is getting hit when you run.
Mm-hmm.
And people are now starting to like understand it and realize that like, not everything's just about going out and meeting people at bars and, getting drunk and, you know, abusing substances and things like that. Like it's a community where it's, around actually building health,
Mm-hmm.
getting your steps in, as, my mom says, getting your blood flowing, getting your movements in, I mean, that's how you live longer. At the end of the day, we're here to live as long as we can, but life happens, things happen, there's sin in this world. But I mean, you look at it, real talk, I mean, it preaches in the Bible, our body's a temple. So, God gave us one body, and if we abuse it, that's sin right there already.
Mm-hmm.
So, cherishing it, doing everything we can to have the best body to, understand and show everybody who God is through the work also of, your body, your temple, of what He's given you. I feel like, I mean, that's really what I'm preaching through a run club.
No, that's big time. The only problem is I don't like running, so I run whenever I play. That's the only reason I would never join one.
Yeah, but
Uh,
you might like running if you realize like you're not actually like running full speed. You're just jogging and socializing. That's what people don't understand. They're like, "Oh yeah, I don't like running," but it's like you don't like running because, you're truly really pushing yourself. But if you're just, on a light jog, I mean, you've been an athlete. You understand. You're in shape. You can easily run under a 10-minute mile. I mean, you just have a light jog and you're just socializing, with your girlfriend or with, your homeboy, and you're just are socializing. I mean, for me, I call my mom sometimes on my run, and my mom's like, "Oh, are you on your run?" Because she knows I just like to talk sometimes on my run too, because it just, gets me off. Sometimes really trying to push myself because it does get hard sometimes, but you know, finding those distractions, whether it's music, socializing. I mean, it's just getting that body going. I mean, literally, sometimes I'll run backwards for like a mile just because, I mean, running backwards is so good for your, getting everything flowing in the opposite direction and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that. Running is just so beneficial. I mean, you don't have to run long distances, but as long as you're getting those steps in and getting your blood movement in, I mean, you got to get that heart rate up too, and that's
Oh,
about it.
facts, facts, facts.
Yeah.
And I also heard you modeling. So what has modeling been like so far for you?
Oh man, it's a crazy industry. You just gotta, I'm a freelance model right now at the moment. So, I'm in control of all my book of business. and I go after the brands and things like that that I want to represent. And once I start building that up more, there's a couple agencies that I've been interested in and have reached out to me, but they also take a percentage of your commission and everything like that. But yes, they do the hard work for you and get you everything. But at modeling, there's it's the same thing like jobs, right? Like applying for jobs. There's, LinkedIn, Indeed, all that stuff, just, Glassdoor, all that stuff, just like applying for jobs. It's the same thing for modeling. There's hundreds of websites out there that you can literally just sign up for, create an account. People are like, oh, I don't understand how to get into modeling. Oh, I don't understand how to get into modeling. I truly took the risk on it because so many people told me, whether it was at valet or my football coaches or my parents' friends, or like, dude, you have the looks. It's just like, go use it, right? So I'm like, all right, God gave me the looks. Okay, then I'm gonna actually put this to work. Like, obviously, job market was hard, you know, that different haven't really found what I truly have wanted to do yet, and then hopped in got told to do a professional photo shoot, did it, realized I enjoyed it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna try this.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the risk on it, put some money down, you know, and I'll get, my return on my investment, but it's just all about how hard of a work I put in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just all about connections. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much out there. Like, people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm not good looking enough," or "Oh yeah, I couldn't model." Well, I mean, nowadays you have no idea what people want,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's country brands or like just, I mean, Wendy's just eating a burger. I mean, the pay is unreal. Like, how the conversation in my family really got it started is my dad's has a friend that they work out together back home in Atlanta. And, he's a decent, good looking, middle-aged 30 man in his 30s. And all he does is sit on real estate properties and do all these backdrops for like movies and TV shows or commercials, and he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And all it is 6 to 8 hour days, or sometimes 10 to 12, but it's like it's 10 to 12 hour days, but he's walking out of there with $12,000 check.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting a $12,000 check at the end when that thing gets published and that thing gets finished, and bang. So I mean, it's just like, networking. It's just something that it's like being an athlete as well. And just, it's something that I found like, okay, I kind of enjoy this. I mean, as athletes, we like get pictures done. We like, we love photo media day. We love all that
Mm-hmm.
type of stuff. So it's like, why not?
Facts. Facts. And so, what does the word believer mean to you?
Believer means, I would say to me, that you believe no matter what you're doing, that you're going to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, you know, saving up for something, or accomplishing that workout, or accomplishing that goal or dream. Believer to me is, you believe in what you're doing and you're not going to quit no matter what.
Facts.
In a way, it's just like, related to, you can look at it as like what I'm starting, a run club, just like that. Finish line social, all about finishing, right? Never, anything that you start, you have to finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how you have to be. And that's how you're gonna be successful in this world. God didn't come on this earth to say, "Oh yes, I built the heavens, I built the earth," and then on the fifth day he said, "I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, he still came on Saturday, still built, still did what he did, finished what he started, and then on Sunday he, got that reward, took that rest, enjoyed, that hard work that he truly, put in.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
No, I agree. I agree. So each time someone comes on the podcast, they leave a question for the next person. The person for you before you left, what do you think the number one determining factor in your success has been?
Number one determining factor in my success has been Um, it's a good question. Time. I would say the number one factor in my success has been time. Because you realize when you get older that you'll never get time back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was preaching earlier is when you're young and you want to go achieve those things, okay, but understand the time and the dedication you still have to get to truly get there. I don't want people nowadays, I feel like, a lot of people, like I said, don't get caught up in focusing on the next level, don't get caught up in focusing on the future. Focus on what you have right in front of you because to be honest with you, the person next door is just as good as you, just as athletic as you, and he's trying to do the same thing as you. And if you're waking up at 7 a.m., and he sees that, right, and he's got the same mindset as you, I guarantee you the next morning he's waking up probably at 5:45.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you got to understand that when you get to that level, I mean, you played, the same level of in, foot or basketball that I did in football, FCS, D1,
Mm-hmm.
top level, so you understand that pretty much everybody's just as athletic. Everybody can do around the same type of thing. It's all about up here. That's about what gets you to the next level, truthfully.
No, that's facts. That's facts. I totally agree. If you can keep your mental good and keep your mental understanding of the game or what you're doing and actually studying how to make yourself successful with the moves you can do and things like that, it takes you a lot longer than physically and unless you can have a 50-inch vert or things like that. But
Yeah, unless you like what's his name from the Bulls. I mean,
Derrick
shoot.
Rose,
No, what's his homeboy that's came out of UNC. What's his name this year?
oh Caleb Wilson,
Yeah, he's about to go stupid. He's freaky athletic.
facts, facts.
He
And
is
then so,
freaky athletic.
what would a question? What question would you like to leave for the next person?
My question would be, let me think about this for 1 second. Hold on.
You're good. You're good.
My question would definitely be for the next person, if God gave you one superpower to make this world like a better place, what would it be?
That's a good question.
If
And I'm
God
gonna
gave you
ask you.
one superpower to
Super.
make this world a better place, what would it be?
And then I'm gonna ask you to answer that question also.
Okay. Mine would be, I would say, I have a couple I'm thinking of. Let me think about the one I want to say. Mine, truthfully, would probably be the superpower of love, honestly, I would say. I don't think that I mean, you can even relate that to just positivity,
Mm-hmm.
love and positivity. Yes, there's still, you know, lots of whatever, hate and all this stuff in the world and everything like that, and that will always be there. But if everybody understands like that love actually takes, you know, work and effort, and that God, came on this world to love us, but he showed that through us, through his actions, and understand that it does take, effort, like I said before. That would be the one superpower I would want. Like if I just always if I never, snapped on anybody, if I never, reacted in a negative way, like if I always truthfully was able to give love to every single person I was in contact with, that would be the one superpower I would want.
No, that's a great question. I haven't heard that's a really good question. And then so that's all the questions that I have for you. If there's anything you want to talk about or anything you want to ask me, open book.
Um, I would say, personally, what do you think your biggest um hard fall was when you felt like you didn't have basketball anymore?
Say that again. I'll make
Like,
sure.
what do you think your biggest like mental like what how were you able to get over basketball or not get over basketball, but how were you able to get through whether it was mentally because it's hard. I mean, it's hard. I guess you can understand what I'm about to say, but how were you able to get through? I mean, it's one of the hardest things when you take something like that from you away. So, how were you able to get through when you were like, holy crap, that was probably the actual last time I will fully play in a actual legitimate competition. Everything matters, everything counts. I'm still, training for the league basketball game.
I would say um, realizing that the realization of it and just letting yourself feel whatever that was. Like for me, I realized it kind of when I was getting looking for jobs, and I found a job that I was at before, and I was like starting the first day I started there at the lunch break, I went and cried because I realized that my basketball career, like playing professionally and all that type of stuff, was over. And then just being able to understand that and take in whatever emotions I was feeling and be able to talk to someone else about it helped me get through that part. And also just knowing that, that part might be over with basketball, but understanding that I need to find a way to still be involved with basketball. And thankfully, ended up being a coach at Cambridge the past couple years, and finding the love of finding the love for basketball in a different way has helped me be at peace in a way of not playing professionally and just still being able to go and play and have fun. But I think the main part at the beginning of letting myself feel the emotions and being able to talk to someone and not let it just sit inside me is really what helped me work towards being at peace with it.
Yeah. Okay, now let me ask you this because I mean, I guess I'm kind of in this situation at the moment, truthfully. I mean, I even had a meeting with my agent yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
just talking about, indoor football league opportunities and all these other opportunities, especially nowadays with the EFL, which is like the European Football League,
Mm-hmm.
and how they're trying to expand, football internationally now. It's trying to, truly is getting a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
What made you because I mean, I've known you since I was a kid, so I mean, I know you could have easily, played overseas and this and that. What made you truthfully even not go that route?
Um, my injuries. I had 3 foot surgeries in 3 years in college, and then after I healed, I had 2 herniated discs in my back. So I actually got that my senior year of college, and I still have it. So just I just couldn't put myself through that mentally anymore. I didn't want to go overseas and then start playing and then get hurt because I wouldn't mentally be okay. And I knew
Yeah.
that I'd rather be able to still be involved with basketball and have fun with basketball and still just play for fun and coach and all that and be around the sport instead of if I would go play, get hurt mentally, and then just be done with basketball the rest of my life. I didn't want to
Yeah.
risk losing basketball for the rest of my life to just prove that I could go play overseas because I know I can play overseas. It's just I'm choosing not to. It's just that I feel like that was the more of the realization that I had to come to was do I want to lose basketball forever or do I want to be around basketball forever and just in a different way? I
Yeah.
had to really sit and, you know, it took a while to be okay with that. but I'm more at peace now with that decision because I still go play in men's leagues for fun, coach basketball, do all these things that are basketball related without having to hurt myself or be in fear that I'm going to hurt myself. Because I did get hurt playing in men's league with my ankle again, and but like it's more like, all right, cool. I can just sit down. I can go train when I want. I can relax when I want. I can do what I want with it instead of being like, well,
Yeah,
you
you're
have to
not
fight. You have to fight through it
gotta
in
be at
practice.
PT at 6 a.m. and this and that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I think that was the main thing for me with just figuring out that it was time to kind of move on. It was more so the injuries kind of made me think about what type of life do I want to have when I'm 28, 29, 30. Do I want to be not being able to walk or things like that, or do I want to be able to live life and play with my kids in the future? That's kind of
Yeah.
what my decision was more so based on.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, man. But I'd say for you, I wouldn't. If you have the opportunity to do it, and you feel like you can do it, and it's not going to affect your future, I would say do it. Because if I wasn't hurt, I would have definitely done it. So I would say keep going until like you get to the point where you're like, I am either going to hate this or I'm going to be able to enjoy this forever. I would say keep going until that. Once you figure that part out and you can be at peace with whatever decision you make, I feel like you'll be good.
Yeah. No, I mean that's true. It's just you know how it is, man. It's just I mean the number one issue that I've heard is especially when you go overseas, they just come back and they just struggle financially so hard,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I mean, you kind of look at it and I don't want to say it's too negative, but it's like, okay, you go over there, you're banging heads, right? So in a way you're knocking years off your life
Mm-hmm.
and you're not getting paid like that. And then you come back here and gotta, build financially when 2 years ago you can already have $1 million in the bank, but now if that was like me, now it's 28 and you're still at like, for instance, you're still at zero,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, instead you're now 28 and you got $1 million in the bank. I mean, it's just like, I don't want to say it's, different perspectives or different, things. There's this book. I don't know if you know this kid. He went to Mercer with us. His name is Jack Rains. Played football with me
I
my
might have to see
freshman
his
year.
face.
And he just came out with this book. It's called Young Money. And I'm gonna buy it and read it. But it's basically about when you're in your 20s, everybody right now is so focused on trying to financially build their future. But he talks about like how it's always gonna be there in a way, and how there's certain things that you want to do like in your 20s, whether it's, physically, mentally, whatever it is, just like a little example, like whether it's skydiving or, going to Japan and like staying in those little things and whatever it is. Like there's certain things that you would do like in your 20s that you would never do like in your 30s, whether it's, you have a family or something holding your back, or just because you physically don't want to put yourself through that anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he basically just talks, the book is basically just preaching about like how when you're in your 20s, it's just like go do all these things in your life and don't worry about about financial freedom or whatever, because it will truly always be there. You'll always be able to open up that business. You'll always be able to, start that career, get that job. That job will always be there for you. It's just, but will you always be able to, you know, will you always want to be like, yeah, I want to go skydive in Dubai? No. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
you turn 30 and you're like, bro, I will never do that. But when you're 25, you're like, screw it, I'll do it just once,
Yeah.
right? Just like little things like that. And that's just what he talks about. And I feel like in a way, maybe after I read that book, it might change my mindset on the whole football thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll see.
So the biggest thing is finding what puts you at peace.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest key with I mean not even just that type of decision but in life. What can put you at peace? Cuz like you can work a job where you make 200 grand a year and not be at peace and come home and be like I hate this. But I live somewhere nice, but I hate what I'm doing. I feel like once you find that sweet spot of you're making money and you're doing what you like or love to do, and you can be come home and be like, that was a good day. It was a good or bad day, but this is what I want to do. I feel like that's when life will open up new opportunities or new things, or just for you to just be able to come home and take a deep breath and have fun. I feel like that's a big thing that people try to just do things just to do things, but don't necessarily have fun with life because you only get one life. So I don't see why people would work somewhere they hate for 10 years just because of money. But if you're not having fun with the money you're making or at peace with the money you're making, then what does the money really do for you?
Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, money doesn't buy you happiness, it just buys you opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you do only have one life. And at the end of the day, God is going to always provide for you as long as you are doing what you are told.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of finding, like for me, I mean, I still am in that world though, where it's like, I haven't found, I mean, yeah, I'm doing so many different things, but nothing has really struck me yet like the feeling that football has. I mean, people ask me, they're like, okay, what's the greatest feeling in the world? Okay, what's, the greatest feeling in the world for you? Okay, for me, the greatest feeling in the world was scoring a touchdown in front of 65,000 people. I mean, there is nothing that can raise that goosebump adrenaline slash on top of the world feeling. There's nothing in the world that can top that. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like personally, there's nothing in the world that ever will be able to top that. And I have came to the, conclusion that, okay, that probably is the best feeling you ever will truly feel on this world, in this world. But there is still other feelings and other things that, God will show you and make you feel, but in a total different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say I've been kind of like afraid of that recently, but it's like I do am afraid of that because I mean, I'm not used to that yet, right? I'm used to just literally strapping on a pair of cleats every single day. I mean, my entire life, this is the first year that I'm not going to fall camp and all this and that. So it's like all I do is see you go on social media and all you see is, your boys playing ball or, one-on-one clips from, today's practice or this and that. And it's like, bro, like,
Yes. I think you just got. I don't know what this necessarily would mean for you, but just embrace that feeling of being scared or
yeah,
being fearful of whatever's next. Embrace that. I think I mean, you can accept it, but also just embracing like whatever is going to happen is meant to happen, and there's a plan and a purpose to that we don't necessarily understand, but there's always going to be a plan to whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So I just feel like embrace that scared or fearful or whatever feeling you have towards whatever's next. Embrace it and
yeah,
just step fully into it and be like, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen because it's gonna happen. Whatever happens, happens. I feel
yeah,
like once you just embrace whatever's next, you can get to that true, meaningful like peace of like, you know what, I'm happy with whatever I'm doing, whatever that may be, and this is right for me and that type of thing. I just feel like you just gotta. I mean, I don't know what that might mean to you, but just embrace whatever's coming, whatever feelings
yeah.
you have, just embrace them.
No, yeah, for sure. It's just like it's just different because I mean, as an athletic mindset,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're always chasing something, right? So in a way, it's like you're results driven. When
Mm-hmm.
you enter the real world, and you don't really have anything, I don't want to say anything to achieve, but like, I mean, in life, right, you just, okay, yes, you want to get this car, you want to get this house, you want to, live in this area, this and that. Okay, yes, that's great things, but it's like in sports, like you're achieving something. And then it's like when you achieve something, it's like that means like you're the best at that. You showed everybody that, you're on top.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you take the athletic world away from you and you enter like the real world, it's such a different it's just such a weird it's just a weird vibe because it's like there's nothing really I mean when you really think about it, it's like there's no like true result like that
Mm-hmm.
in sports. And that's why sports is truly such a great thing, because people are like okay, I show up every day, but you ask a lot of young kids, they're like, why do I show up every day? Because I want to win the championship at the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to get the ring, because I want to, be MVP, whatever it is, but they know that there's rewards at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They know that if they are the best player, if they are the best team, that they win that championship and then they go down in the history books and then people will talk about them and then all this and that. In life, right? It's like, okay, you make the most money, okay, but then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, it's just such a different, that's just kind of where I am right now in life. And it's like, I mean,
Frustrating.
yeah, it's because everybody tells me it's like, dude, just because you're an athlete, you're results driven. I'm like, I know I am. I've always been, I mean, that's you go hear people like Tom Brady and all those people talk about it's like why they never wanted to retire. It's like why Aaron Rodgers, in a way, you kind of look at it, it's like why he still doesn't retire. It's because
Mhm.
they want to still compete after something. And
Yep.
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like when you get in life, it's like, yes, I'm a huge Christian and I know, we're here to spread the word, but it's like I've been so consumed of football that maybe, God has removed it for me to focus more on my religion than, the sport. I mean, there's just so many things I'm thinking about mentally that I've been going through, but that's just life.
Facts. No, I definitely understand that. I'm thankfully now starting to things are starting to get in order and to a path that I feel like is makes sense for me and is putting me at peace. But it took me 2-3 years to get to this,
Yeah.
this part where it's like, all right, this feels right. I feel like this is something I can do, and I'm at peace with what comes from this journey that I'm on now. I'm at peace with whatever is at the end of it. I don't know what this will lead, what right now is going to lead to, but I gotta live with it. I'm happy with my life, so now it's just
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what I'm saying, especially me trying to meet new people and things like that. I was literally talking to somebody the other day and they were like, "Oh, I feel like I guess, talk to football players or whatever." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, football players talk about football all the time, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, well, I mean, you think about it. I've only been out of football. You look at the draft, and when the draft ended, I've been out of football for 3, 4 months. I mean, 3, 4 months, that is literally nothing.
mm-hmm.
I mean, football has still been in my life for so long that, 3, 4 months is like every day I still wake up and think, all right, am I like, do I hit up my quarterback or let's go throw? Like, and then I'm like, bro, like, throw for what right now? Like, let me just go work out. You stay in shape. Like, throwing and running routes is like, riding a bike for me, but it's like, I don't need to do that anymore because I don't have a season to play. I'm not competing for anything right now. So it's like, and it's still hard mentally that transition because that still is something I think about every single day. But nobody, I mean, you would never know that whether
Mm-hmm.
it's, me trying to, become an influencer on social media now or whatever it is, like, because I mean, there's things we all hide, things like that. And, I mean, I think about it every single day.
I definitely say go find like a either some type of flag football men's league or something. Because
I know I
honestly,
was thinking about becoming a little high school coach, but I just got a lot, I guess I'm trying
yeah,
going on right now
I
that
would definitely say do something that.
I want to get away. It's like mentally, like my friends ask me, I'm like, bro, I'm not watching any football this year. They're like, bro, like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? I'm like, bro, I'm not watching that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't ask me anything what's going on in football this year. I'm not, they're like, bro, did you get NCAA 27? No. Like, I don't have any interest in watching any games,
Yeah.
like nothing, any call, like I have no interest this year. Like it's just like a thing. I mean, there's multiple boys that I have, whether they got cut for the NFL or didn't even make it to the NFL, where it's like, bro, like they still can't even watch ball anymore. They still don't. I'm like, last year I would text them, like one of my best boys from Charleston Southern. I'm like, bro, let's go to a Bucks game. He's like, bro, you think I'm ever gonna go to an NFL game again? He's like, screw the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They did me so dirty. I mean, it's just you look at it, I just look at it differently. Maybe things will change, eventually, but right now I don't say I want to be away from the game, but I want to be away from the game because I'm hurt by it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm still hurt by it.
No, I agree that
So,
you need a break. So I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that.
um,
But no, man,
yeah.
I appreciate you for coming, having a good conversation with me, kind of letting off whatever you need. Oh, I guess one more thing is there anything that's on your mind that you need to get off to make you feel
Um,
better?
no,
Okay.
just I would say just if you're in the Tampa area, I'm just gonna, get this run club going. So
If I ever,
any
I'm gonna come do it.
anytime you come down here, hit me up.
I will. I will. Well, I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come hop on the podcast and kind of talk about yourself and have a fun conversation. I truly appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Kumar.
Yeah, man. Well, if you ever need anything, I'm always here.
Absolutely.
Bet. All right, my guy. I'll talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too, boss. Be good.
Yes, sir.
Bye bye.